Hello everyone, my name is Chase Chappell and welcome to Ad Buildout Module 9. In today's module, we're going to be going over ad philosophy, getting started with the ad setup process so you know exactly what steps to take when creating your ads, and creating ads to achieve our objectives. If you're optimizing for purchases, then the objective being to get more purchases. So here's our roadmap. Here's our roadmap. You should be at the ad build out phase. We had already completed our campaign structures where we covered our campaign layouts, where we have separated our interest campaigns, our lookalike campaign, our retargeting campaign, and the interest. And we've also done our audience breakdowns where we talked about testing different interests by splitting them out, as well as your lookalikes and retargeting to really identify which ones are going to perform best. Now we're in the ad build out phase where we're going to be covering exactly which ads to create, how to create them, which to focus on, what types of creative, and what type of copy and headlines make the most sense to actually test. And then we have a little bit of a timeline here where we cover the rest of the roadmap of diving into the data-driven methodologies coming up, and then optimization strategies, and we'll be eventually getting into scaling. So just to start to dive in, the ad attention, the first thing that people notice when they see an ad is going to be the creative. So this is super important because as soon as somebody notices your ad, they are going to first look at the image or video content. That's the first thing that captures the attention, so therefore it becomes one of the most important things that we use to deliver information. We want the video or image to focus on the product, have a very clear, concise focus, and allow it to communicate effectively what it is that we're selling, so that way people, not only gain interest, know what it is, but also start to look at the next thing, which is the headline. So that's the second most important thing we have in our actual ad creative. So we want to make sure that the headline is very direct, bold, and so that way people understand what it is that they buy. And some people might start to click the shop now and move forward from here. But if they don't, the third thing they look at is copy to reconfirm what it is that they're looking at and understanding, to gain a better idea of what it is, that they're looking at. So the copy is where we'll, further dive in, be more informative, and give the exact breakdown of everything so that way people can make a decision on moving forward to make a purchase. And so the first steps that we're really going to be taking here is identifying the best performing product. We're first going to start with promoting your best selling product. If you don't know which product sells best, then start with testing multiple products. The reason for this is because if we already know exactly what is our best seller, there's no sense in us testing other products right now, because we can automatically increase our chances of having a successful run with the ads and getting to profitability sooner, rather than testing things that we have unknowns about. So with starting with something we already know that can actually perform, this is going to allow us to improve upon this basis and actually allow us to get better results. The second thing is we need to gather all content. This includes your images, videos, landing pages, headlines, and call to actions, and organize it into folders on either Google Drive or Dropbox. Having organization is highly important here because this is going to give you a good clarity of mind and understanding what assets you have at the ready, so that way you can make the best decision on putting these pieces together. This process makes it much more simpler when you have all of this gathered, so I'd highly recommend doing so right now. The third thing is defining your main campaign objectives. If you had seen in previous modules, we covered exactly which campaign objectives make the most sense. And if you're looking to gain a return on ad spend, increase your purchases, get more sales, and actually, scale up, then the conversion objective, we're really wanting to focus on here is going to be the purchase conversions. And so therefore, we need to focus on direct ad campaigns to drive the highest conversion rate. So the first step really is going to be the ad link. The link should drive directly to the product being promoted. So you're going to want to link that directly to that product page. So whichever product is your number one bestseller, you don't want to take them to the home page. You don't want to take them to the collection page. You want to take them directly to that product that which you're promoting. This is going to increase the conversion rate because people are literally clicking on the ad creative with your product and then visiting the landing page that also has your product to make the purchase. This also decreases the actual friction in the process because Facebook's algorithm takes into account the number of clicks it takes somebody before they purchase. And if you send somebody to the home page, and then they have to click to the collection page, and then they have to click to the product page, and then they have to click to the add to cart, then to the initiate checkout, then to the actual, information where they add all their payment info and then purchase, Facebook's going to say, well, that's many touch points, and it took them, a much longer process, and a lot of people dropped off because it was just too much time. Therefore, your CPM costs go up, your overall cost per purchase rises, and you just get less results overall. Therefore, the system doesn't get enough data, and it's a downward spiral from there. Now, the opposite can happen if you're linking directly to the closest next step in the actual conversion process, which would be that product page. That means as soon as they land on the page, they can add to cart or click to buy now and automatically start completing their purchase information to receive the product. So let's go ahead and go through this process. I'm going to be using an example today of Me Undies, so that way y'all can follow along. And this is just a brand online that we can use as an example to look at what makes the most sense in putting ad creatives together. So when coming to the site, the first thing you're going to notice is obviously that they're running holiday campaigns because we're getting soon to the holidays with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas coming up. So obviously having creative themed around these specific days are going to be super important. And when selling specific items like this that are in the clothing space or in the undie space, it's really important that we look for items that can be bundled and we can find really good offers, because those are going to sell the best. So for example, rather than just looking to sell a specific, say a boxer brief solo, we would look to sell something that maybe is more of like a bundle offer here. So we're going to go ahead and click on undie packs, and let's just scroll down here. And one of the main things is we want to be able to get somebody to spend the most amount of money, but also see the most amount of value out of it as well. So that way we can get the highest number of conversions, have a good AOV and a good return on ad spend, and really maximize the profits here. So it looks like we have $36 for these. These are $18 a pair. These are $28 a pair, 84. Having been in the space and knowing that people are willing to spend this number, that's, a good thing to note for us if we decide to actually promote that one. Let's continue to scroll down here. Mystery packs. We have a boxer brief 3-pack at 57. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this one. And the reason we want to select something like this is the bundles are already an offer here. And not only that, but we're going to be able to, promote a 3-pack, because in a space like this, somebody online, the likelihood of somebody actually making a purchase just for one pair of undies is very unlikely, whereas, actually bundling an offer and having multiple pairs is going to increase the likeliness of somebody actually making a purchase. And so what we'll do is we'll click on the 3-pack and we'll go ahead and just see what color options we have. These are classics, and it looks like we have some holiday themed packs, which the holidays are coming up, so that is also another good sign. So the first thing we want to do is, since we're going to be promoting this page, we're going to choose this specific URL. We're going to come to our ads manager, and the first thing we're going to do is add this URL in. And so we're going to be promoting our product and directly linking them to that actual page. The next step is the ad creative. The ad creative should directly focus on the product. The product needs to take up 80% of the image or 80% of the video placements. The reason is because this puts the direct attention on the product itself. If we're promoting an item like underwear, if we're showing somebody, wearing the underwear and they're walking around and doing different activities throughout the house, maybe they're cooking in their underwear, the focus then becomes on the person and then becomes on the activity that they're doing. And the final attention piece is the product in this case. So the problem here would be is that because that person would be in the kitchen cooking in their underwear, the attention is being drawn entirely away from the product, therefore lowering the chances of somebody recognizing what is being promoted immediately. Whereas if we promoted a creative of the product being shown in 80% of the image, say the underwear is taking up 80% of it and the background is white, there's no other attention other than on the underwear itself. There's no person to look at, there's no other things to look at. The only thing they can actually directly pay attention to is that underwear and the style of it. Therefore, being able to know exactly what it is that we're promoting and increasing the chances of us actually getting a conversion. Now, there's lots of different types of creative inputs that we could use that drive really great results across the board. There's no one best option. All of these options are certainly worth testing because all these options have been proven over time with testing to have shown to convert at high volume. One of these options is calling out the benefits. You can directly highlight, maybe with the underwear, saying it, the benefits of it being soft or it being, fitted or it not being itchy. Those are some of the things that would be directly paid attention to here. The other thing is introducing the products. If we're doing a new collection drop of a special design, or if we're releasing a new product design, or if we're releasing a new specific style or color, we would introduce that product / style. The other thing is highlighting the problem or solution. The problem being that maybe most underwear is uncomfortable, and the solution being that this is a comfortable underwear to wear. The other one is comparing it to competitors. Maybe the competitors offer underwear at a much higher cost, and so we compare the price. Or maybe the competitors offer something like, a phone pocket in the underwear. Why would somebody use that? But it is a differentiator. So always looking for a unique way to call out a comparison against competitors is another type of creative input that you could use. The other one is calling out the offer, whether it's the price, whether it's, the differentiating factor in it. Maybe it's the style. Maybe the offer is, a discount or something included, or it's a bundle or the free shipping. There's so many different types of offers here that can be created and tested, and that is the part where we identify those things. The other one is being campaign themed. If the holidays are coming up, for instance, Black Friday, it can be a Black Friday themed campaign, or Christmas, it can be a Christmas themed campaign, or maybe Valentine's Day is coming up. It can be a Valentine Day campaign. Those are also great creative inputs being holiday themed because they're highly relevant and can get really amazing conversion rates. And there's high purchase intent around those days. The other one is testimonials, using customers whether it's a quote, whether it's them talking in a video, having them talk about the product, why they chose to purchase it. A testimonial creative input is also great to test. So let's go ahead and dive into these and start creating some examples. The first thing we're going to do is to go back to the page we were just on, and we're going to look at some of the creative content that they already have here at our disposal. So for instance, this one is just the actual 3-pack with the blank background. The next one is an individual wearing the actual undies, and they show different angles, different viewpoints, so that way somebody could potentially visualize it. So those are the options of creative we have right now. The first thing we're going to do is just save this image. Now this step is important for cropping. This part can make your ad dynamic when you don't want it to. So essentially what we want to do is select original, and we're going to allow the system to crop it afterwards, which allows us to keep this creative specifically focused on it not being dynamic and allows us to get a stack of social proof. We're going to ignore those specific placements first. And now we have our undie bundle here. And literally if somebody sees this creative, they're immediately going to notice that there's 3 different designs. Those are underwear, and that is what we're selling. So that becomes the attention. Therefore, people can start to immediately know whether or not they're in, wanting to make this purchase or not. The next step, now that we have this specific creative here, is to decide whether or not we want to crop it further. So it looks like we might be taking up, 80% of the image, but I still think there's a lot more room to actually keep this even more cropped. So if we're going to square this up, we could even get very more focused here. The bigger the view, the better it is, because that allows us to put the most attention on the product. And automatically that already looks better than what it was before. Much more focused in, it's more zoomed in, and now there's a lot more attention on it. The next thing we want to do is focus on the headline. Headlines need to be targeted, they need to be significant, and they need to have a specific impact. So that would include your product / brand name as an option, the offer, or a bold call out. Example, #1 bestseller. If you're choosing to use your #1 best-selling product, well, you could very well just call out that it's a #1 bestseller. That gives validation to other potential buyers that, hey, this is our best-selling product and people do love this, specific item that we're selling, so you could too. Other bold callouts would be a new collection drop or a new style drop or a new color drop, right? Where people get excited around a specific drop. And then we want to use purely factual headlines. This will drive a higher conversion rate, decrease confusion, and improve your ad delivery since factual information is not against policy. The amazing thing here is that Facebook can work in your favor just by following as many policy protocols as possible. The reason for this is if you are factual and it is very direct and it does state well, then Facebook is going to out-deliver your ad to its competitors, meaning you're going to get more placements, more views at the same cost as somebody else who gets way less views, way less delivery, and they're paying the same as you. So you automatically get a more competitive edge just by being very direct. And you do not want to sensationalize headlines. An example of this would be, have you heard of this newly discovered fruit that is super age healing powers, ... There's no solution here. This doesn't say what the product is. This is just an attention-grabbing headline that's going to drive a very high click-through rate, but is going to be against policy. This type of headline and copy is against the policy and will increase your CPMs and cost. Facebook will automatically pick this up and know that this is just a attention-grabbing headline that is trying to drive people away from Facebook, and they're automatically going to raise the cost of your CPM, and that's directly going to affect your cost per purchase and your return on ad spend. The last thing you want to do is, come up with some sensationalized headline or copy to draw attention to what it is that you're selling, and ultimately it work against you by having the system raise its cost on you. That's the last thing you want. So the main focus should be using factual headlines and being very direct in your actual headline callout. So an example of this would be if we're going to go to the landing page, the first thing we could do is just literally say Boxer Brief 3-pack. It doesn't get any more focused than that. I mean, we're going to be showing our image of the 3-pack here, and we're going to be calling out our headline as Boxer Brief 3-pack. For somebody to see this as an ad and immediately see the product in the image, the 3-pack, they now know we're selling undies, and then the next thing they know is it's a Boxer Brief 3-pack. That is super direct. People who are ready to purchase will literally go from there. There's not much other convincing to be done here. And we're not even convincing in this case. We're just giving them the option to make the purchase. The next thing we're doing is we're going to look for other ways that we might include something in our offer. So for instance, free US shipping and returns. So we could quite literally take this as an additional piece to add into our description. So now we add in free US shipping and returns. People know if they purchase it, they're going to get free shipping. And if they don't like the product, they can return it back, which is a great call out because that gives support that, it allows people to try it out and feel comfortable with doing so and not having to worry about paying for those shipping costs. We could also try to test different things like limited edition pack. We could call out the fact that, we could do a slash price when we're talking about the discount. There's lots of different things that we could actually test here in the sub headline description area, but we're just going to first start with free US shipping and returns. And since this is more holiday themed here, we might include an emoji where it makes it more relevant and engaging. So if we go to Emojipedia, this is a dictionary essentially for all the emojis. We could do holiday and see exactly what pops up. So we might include a gift, or let's do snow and see if there's any snow themed. So we could use a snowflake. It usually gets cold around the holidays. So if we include the snowflake Boxer Brief 3-pack, we could also look for other emojis to see which ones fit the best there. Maybe a snowman. And just see which emoji makes the most sense in this case. So in this case, it looks like the present might make the most sense in terms of the emoji because people could buy this as a gift. They could buy it for themselves. There's lots of different use cases here for the holidays. So we're going to go with the present. It's the most, it has the strongest call out in terms of what it is that we're selling. And it's very easy for this to be used in a lot of different use cases for whether it's buying for friends, family, or if it's just for themselves. The other thing is now we're going to focus on the primary text. We've covered the link. We're directly linking to this product page. We now have our creative, which directly focuses on this product. We have our headline, which directly calls out what it is that we're selling, the Boxer Brief 3-pack. We have our supporting description, which is the free US shipping and returns, which gives more validation to why somebody might want to make a purchase and make them more comfortable. And now the third thing, which is going to be our primary text, which is our ad copy. And our ad copy is going to be what you say in your ad is more important than how you say it. So you're going to want to be direct. You want to be informative, and you're going to want to restate your offer. So that way people have all the information they need to make the purchase. So we're going to write by definition of the product, call out the audience, state the problem, and transition into the solution for which the product achieves. This is a great formula for allowing you to be as directly focused on what it is that you're selling. It gives you a good model to rinse and repeat very fast and very effectively because there is nothing more direct than something as clear as this. Lots of people like to go on, a story path, which is great, but the problem is with writing long stories, people can get confused. There's room for mistake and pulling away from what it is that's being sold. There's lots of ways for people to get misconstrued in what the actual process is. So if our focus is being that we're selling something and we want to increase our purchases and our conversion rate and be able to do a high volume, we need to be able to speak to a very direct audience and be able to scale up without having to worry about confusion. And so the great thing about this formula is it really eliminates as much confusion as possible and puts the exact emphasis on what we're selling. That way, if people click, that quite literally means they're interested in making that purchase. There's no other reason why somebody would make that, specific click with it being so direct. Whereas if we're, using copy that isn't necessarily even about a product, we're just, putting in a lot of filler, it's very easy for somebody to get confused, make a click because they thought it was something else, and therefore we're affecting our data on our site and audiences. Now, one thing that's important here, especially around the holidays and specific campaign theme strategies, adding in humor can increase the lifespan of an ad, and it can also drive higher conversion rates. But if the humor is too distracting, it can result in the opposite. Just like with telling a very great story, if the story is very focused on the product and communicates exactly what it is that we're selling, while at the same time, being very engaging, that's great. But it can also be the opposite if you don't know exactly what ways to structure those things. So I highly recommend sticking with the formula unless you do understand how to effectively communicate a story or be humorous in your ad. Then I do recommend going with that as well because that can help increase the lifespan and drive a much higher conversion rate. So let's go ahead and write the ad copy so that way you can see exactly how this first formula works. We're going to go to the site, and all we're going to do is take information that is very direct and already here. The reason this is so important is because when somebody clicks on the ad, they're going to see all of the same pieces that we used in our ad creative on the landing page. That allows them to know they made it in the right spot and make a decision to make a purchase or not. So first thing we see is if you're looking to refresh your top drawer with undies made from softer than soft micro modal packs are the way to go. Okay, so that's one option. We continue to scroll down here, the OG of undies. Let's see what they have to say here. These right here are what started it all. These are the perfect combo of soft and free, yet supportive and strong. So this is calling out benefits. So that's one option. The generous pouch will form to any figure, allowing for carefree comfort all day. So that's another benefit. Our durable stitching keeps your undies in place for wherever you go and for whatever you get into, which means no bunching and best of all, no wedgies. Wonderful. So that is the benefits. The other one is our softer than soft, which this is what we were reading earlier. And then it dives into something that's more environmentally friendly by saying it literally grows from trees, sustainably sourced beechwood fibers are spun into a yarn to create a natural fabric that is not only super soft, but breathable, static resistant, and impossibly cozy. That focuses more on the cause and the environmental approach, and can also be another ad angle. These are also other direct callouts, specific, maybe these are the specific callouts that could be compared to competitors. So there's lots of different ways that we can draw in these different angles to really allow us to see which converts best with our product. So the first thing I'd like to do is, end up taking some of this and wording it in a way that we can actually drive conversions. So the first thing we can do is take this line here, go to our ad copy, we'll drop this, and then we'll start with calling out a problem. Because if we lead with the solution, some people might not even know what the problem is yet until we directly identify it. So with that being said, we want to be direct and say potentially uncomfortable undies. And then these we need to replace with the actual product. So uncomfortable undies, these are the perfect combo of soft and free yet supportive. Yet supportive and strong. So this is 3 different things that are here. Okay, so uncomfortable undies, and then we're going to call out, we'll say R. And then we'll use softer than soft, because that's already here. Uncomfortable undies are softer than soft. Boxer briefs are the perfect combo. So a combo of soft and supportive. Let's not use the word strong here, because that could be misconstrued with being too tight. Our softer than soft boxer briefs are the perfect combo of soft and free yet supportive. Okay, free yet supportive. Maybe there's another option that's a little bit more clear, because that is also a line that could potentially be misconstrued with a lot of different things. Carefree comfort all day. Because we're stating the problem and we're wanting to really call out the solution here, the solution being softer than soft boxer briefs are the perfect combo of soft and carefree comfort all day. Okay, and let's just reread to see if there are any other options. Perfect. So here's our call out. Uncomfortable undies, which is the stating the problem. If people have uncomfortable underwear, whether it's itchy or other reasons for why it would be uncomfortable, too tight, too loose, etc. Then we're calling out our solution by first stating our product, which is that, direct item. Our softer than soft boxer briefs are the perfect combo of soft and carefree comfort all day. So we're covering multiple pieces right here. So for the first part of the formula, we're writing by definition of the actual product by using the softer than soft boxer briefs. We're transitioning into the solution, which talks about the combo of soft and carefree comfort all day. And calling out the audience would also be in this specific line here, which is uncomfortable undies, which directly focuses on an audience of people who have uncomfortable undies. So this might not necessarily be directed towards people who just like, stylish underwear. This might just be directed towards quite literally people who have uncomfortable undies. And then we could do another variation that focuses on maybe the style, and highlighting that for that specific audience. And what you'll end up finding here is pretty quickly we can talk to multiple audiences for multiple different angles while driving the direct focus on the exact same product, allowing us to get a much wider reach, much higher scale, and much higher volume of placements, conversions, and sales. So this is really the exciting part here, because there's a lot of different variations we can really dive into, allowing us to get the highest number of conversions possible and achieve huge scale for sales. So this is our first lineup of copy. We might have, potentially another emoji here, but this is very direct. This is very specific. It's simple and really highlights all of the key points that are really needed to be focused on here for somebody to make a conversion. If we were to run this ad today, the likeliness of this being, a high converting ad is definitely there, especially with, looking at 3x plus range, just from how specific it is, how relevant it is with the campaign, it being around the holidays, it focusing on the actual items themselves, calling out the offer, calling out, supporting offers with the free shipping, and speaking to a very direct audience, and then highlighting the solution all together. So that is our first ad angle, and we can go ahead and move on by focusing on the testing. So you're never going to want to stop testing ads, and you're always going to find improvements in your campaigns by doing this. The more testing you're doing, the more improvements you're going to come across, the more ways you can actually build upon what it is that's working. You can go from a 2.3 to a 2.5 to a 2.8, making your way up to the return on ad spend that you desire, allowing you to get a very consistent result and scale. So you're going to want to test copy, you're going to want to test different creatives, you're going to want to test headline, and you're going to want to test descriptions. I find so many people will test the copy, headline, description, but they'll never change their creative. They'll have like one creative and then they just do a ton of different, copy and headlines. If that's the case, you might as well just run a dynamic ad and just, have dynamic copy and headlines and descriptions and just use the same creative. Whereas with this approach, you want to test unique individual ones across the board, because if you have a unique copy, unique creative, unique headline, unique description for 5 different ads, that's going to give you the highest opportunity for finding the most variations possible for something that converts. And that's what we recommend, an average of 5 totally different ads to test initially. This allows you to not hit the max ad capacity, because Facebook has a max for the number of ads you can create, and it doesn't overload the algorithm with too many different options and variables to test. So having totally 5 different ads is going to be great for the system to initially optimize with, and this is going to give you a good insight for which ones are converting best and allow you to optimize by turning off and really focusing in on the creatives and copy / creative that is converting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this process 5 more times. We're going to go ahead and create another ad example for this training, so that way you can get a good understanding and really have a solid approach. Next thing we'll do is we'll just quickly duplicate this for an example, and we have our next ad ready to go. So we'll come back to this page, and in this case we'll go ahead and focus on a more simple style. Maybe there's an audience that doesn't really care for the style of their underwear because they always have clothes on, so therefore people don't see their underwear, and maybe they're not in a relationship, so their spouse or unique partner is not seeing their underwear. And because they're single and they're not going out and potentially never taking off their clothes in public or being around somebody when they're taking off, well, in this case, the color of their underwear to them wouldn't matter. So that is a unique audience in itself. And so therefore, simply sticking to the basic colors is something that appeals to a very specific audience. Whereas something that's more creative, somebody might be, into colorful undies and might even want to share their undies and show them off. So we're going to focus on the simple color range this time. And what we'll also do is we'll switch over to the option where we saw another pack at a higher price, because we want to test and see how much we can get individuals to spend based off of the value that we're providing. So we might jump up to the Breathe Boxer Brief. So the difference is these are more breathable. So that's more unique. We'll take the link. We'll drop it in. And then we'll also save the image. We'll choose original so that way we can crop them afterwards. And then what we'll do is we'll edit media, change the square so that way it's very focused in on the product specifically, taking up 80% of the actual image. And now it's more zoomed in. Next thing we can do is take our headline, which is the boxer brief with fly 3-pack. And these are breathe. So we might focus on the breathe angle. Let's do boxer brief 3-pack so that way our headline and then our description will also show up. And so for the actual ad copy, next what we're going to do is we're going to look at this and see so boxer brief with fly meets keep you cool. Perforated, soft as heck, comfy. Yes, that's a lot of adjectives. This boxer brief was literally designed for your everyday activity because it's made with moisture wicking, anti-odor, quick dry material to keep you comfy no matter what you get into. Okay, so this is appealing to individuals who are likely sweaty and have boxer briefs that are holding in heat, which makes them uncomfortable. So that is going to be the problem. The solution is obviously these are going to be more breathable. They're designed for quick moisture wicking, anti-odor, and so forth. So that is going to be the angle. Instead of it being, this could also appeal as an uncomfortable, but we're going to really be a little bit more specific here and say something revolved around, whether it's sweat, heat, so we'll just go with the sweaty undies angle and we'll call out the direct description here. And we'll say sweaty undies and then we'll say something like say no more. Our stretchy, soft, lightweight, and breathable undies are designed with movement in mind. Grab a pack that will to stay put so you don't have to. Let's remove that. And let's go ahead and look at so this line is much more focused than the other one. Sweaty undies, say no more. This boxer brief was literally designed for your everyday activity because it's made with moisture wicking, anti-odor, quick dry material to keep you comfy no matter what you get into. Exclamation point, because that is really putting the emphasis on. Then we could even drop this line to make this a little bit more digestible. Let's see here. So sweaty undies, say no more. And because it is so focused, we could even get away with removing this first line as well. But we're still going to call out our audience so that way we really capture the attention initially. And then our offer down here is still going to be the free US shipping and returns. And we'll add in some additional details like bring comfort home for the holidays. We'll also call out the perfect gift. Bring comfort home for the holidays, the perfect gift for your loved ones. So this could be for somebody's spouse or somebody that's in a relationship. Or we could even keep it more generic, which is the perfect gift for your holidays, allowing somebody to, think of all situations that this might be gifted in. Whether it is that they're bringing it to a gifting party or a party in general. The next one we could do is a truck, which is going to be symbolic of the delivery and the free shipping. And because we're using orange back to back, we'll use the green truck. So that way it's a little bit more focused. And this will be our free US shipping and returns. And then we'll do perfect for everyday activity. And then we'll say get your breathe, boxer breathes now. And so that's our call to action at the end. So it's a lot more focused. We have specific call outs, bringing comfort home for the holidays, the perfect gift for the holidays, and free US shipping and returns. So that way we're really getting into specifics here, and then having a strong call to action at the end, so that way we can get somebody to click and move forward. And the next step would be specifically to either adjust our description for another variation, since we're already using the free shipping call out. And this right here is a witty call out that we could use. Super soft gifts for everyone on the list. It doesn't look like it's going to fit though. Since there's no specific % off, what we could do instead is talk about not only the free shipping, but we could just say free shipping. We can just change up the variation of it by saying free US shipping on all orders. So that way there's still a strong call out and it fits. Leave it out. So here's our breakdown. Sweaty undies, say no more. This boxer brief was literally designed for your everyday activity because it's made with moisture wicking, anti-odor, quick dry material to keep you comfy no matter what you get into. And then has specific call outs of bringing comfort home for the holidays, the perfect gift for holidays, free US shipping and returns, perfect for everyday activity. Get your breathe boxer briefs now. Having a call to action at the end, they know exactly what it is that we're selling. They can see the simplicity and the actual product, and then just the free US shipping on all orders. And then that is our second variation. And what we continue to do here is we would really focus on creating additional variations until we have our 5. And once we have our 5, we would launch those into testing. So what we covered today in Module 9 was the ad philosophy. We talked about the actual linking, the creative, the headline, the actual copy, and the overall function of the ad and how to be direct in your actual ad together. And then getting started with the ad setup process, the walkthrough of how exactly it is that you can curate the creative and copy to really drive a direct focus and conversion. And number 3, creating the ads to achieve our objectives. I hope you enjoyed this module, and I will see you on the next one.